Joe. Woo, I'm glad he didn't tell the good stuff. Wow. Thank you so much. Where would I start? Unexpectedly this morning I was gifted this. In the early 2000s, man, look at y'all. Woo! Pretty. I received an award for having Engine of the Year, my 120 cubic inch pan head, and it was called the Outlaw 120. And I accepted that award on stage with my son. Many of you know the story about my son, and he's no longer with us, but I get to share the stage with him again. These people brought me this morning. His name is Jennings. I love you, Mike. I got you. And this is Marvelous Molly. We did about 100,000 miles, and this is taken at the needle here in 2010. 6 weeks later, well, that's what happened. So I'm going to share the stage with my boy today with y'all.
Awesome.
I didn't think I would need this, but thank you, brother. I love you so much. All right, hold on. I said the same dang thing. What the heck is he doing up there? When Keith Ball called me, I was in a Publix parking lot. I was getting 2 ribeyes. A friend of mine, 87-year-old friend of mine, that had just lost his 85-year-old brother. And the phone rings, and it's Keith. So I'm speaking to him, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. We have the greatest conversations. And he says to me eventually, Barry, has Keith called you? Keith Terry called you? I said, no. He said, you sure? I said, I'm pretty positive. He said, well, you've been inducted into the Motorcycle Hall of Fame. And man, his voice went to the back, and I was shell shocked. I had no idea that this was coming about. Not an inkling. And I gotta tell you, I felt a little undeserving. But I didn't want to disrespect those that had worked so hard to get me in here. But I didn't feel like I deserved it. You know what? I thought I was gonna be able to get through this shit. Hang on. I thought of Lou Trachtenberg, STD. Without him, I couldn't have built hundreds and hundreds of pan heads. I couldn't have done those knucklehead crankcases. I couldn't have gone to Bonneville with my dear friend Keith Ball setting 2 world records. It wouldn't have happened. I called Lou one day and I said, Lou, I need some numbers for some crankcases. I need to repair some crankcases, and I don't know the distance from here to yonder. And he says, how about I just send you the blueprints, Barry? Just don't share them with anybody. I never have, and I've got them. I think of Ed Rowe. How many valves and valve guides in this place have been saved by Ed Rowe? How many plow wheels have been trued on Ed Rowe's first product, the Rowe True and Stand, the plow wheel True and Stand? I put a passel of them out. I had 2 of those things going at one time. That was Ed's first product. Dang, I didn't think this would happen. Where do the frogs come from? I think of Dave Kashalik, one of my very first mentors. How many Hall of Famers have been mentored by Dave Kashalik? How many shops, how many dealerships, how many mom and pop shops, how many craftsmen have been mentored and taught and instructed by Dave Kashalik? I think of Ron Tropp. If you know, you know. Ron and I would speak from Alaska, and we solved all the world's problems many times, but nobody freaking listened. The pants, the nuts, the shovels. How many crankcases on XLs have been saved because of that trap door? Come on, man, you got it. It's very difficult for me to accept this award. I'm going to refer to a note here. I think of Frank Kaiser. Y'all should know that. during the course of, after seeing all of that, and during the course of the induction ceremony, you give a small bio and a large bio. You send these pictures that you just saw over there. And you have the opportunity to speak with Heidi, and we spoke with Steve Peel. While I was preparing to do that, at my welding table, I received a phone call from Jackpot 13 Rebel Ken Holloway. And he said, Barry, you better call Jackie Hill real quick. She's in a bad way. He gives me the phone number to Pete Hill. So I called Pete's shop and called his house. Pete answered the phone. I said, Pete, how's our girl? And he says, congratulations on the induction into the Hall of Fame, Barry. I said, well, hell, I just found out yesterday. How'd you know, Pete? And he laughed at me. Jackie is okay, by the way, and she called while I was up here yesterday on her practice. And I said, Pete, I just shared with Pete what I just shared with y'all. I don't feel deserving, Pete. And this is Pete Hill now. And he says, Barry, I felt the same way. And then Pete put into words exactly how I felt. Barry, I felt like I took someone else's place. And that's how I felt. That's how I feel inside. During that process, when you were speaking to him, I talked to Steve Peel. I shared with Peel what I shared with y'all, what I shared with Pete. I said, Steve, I don't feel like I deserve it. Steve, Hall of Famer, says, Barry, I felt the same way. Damn, this stuff is contagious. And then he put into words exactly what I needed. He said, Barry, now you have a platform in which to get those in there that you feel deserve it. Boom, that was it. That changed everything for me. So now I can graciously and humbly accept the induction into the prestigious Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Dadgummit, it feels good too. Oh, you should gas it down. I ain't there for it. So during that process, you're asked a series of questions. And two of those questions just poked right out at me. First one was, what does Sturgis mean to you? Rod Balch, right down here, came with me in 1983 as our first trip here, and we set up in the Super Duper parking lot. In the Gerald Foster book, I'd like to share this with y'all if you see it. There's a crashed motorcycle in there that we repaired here, and Napa let us use their lathe, their press, and everything. No charge, just let us use it. The tattooed pigs in here, where the ASPCA ran that guy out of town, gave him 15 minutes to get out of the state. He was with us. He's the guy that originally built the first tower in the middle of the street down there, which, when they ran him out, the city took over, shorted up and used it, charged $1. So, what did it mean to me? Let's see. What did Sturgis mean to me? Out on 14A, when you get into 14A, that big megaplex out there at the Conoco station, that used to be the Wicker House. That's all that was there. Tiny little bar, had a jukebox in it. You could bring in your ice chest. They'd give you the ice, they'd give you the beer, you put it in there. And they had a girl. And she could dance in a bathing suit till 11:59, the day that Sturgis officially started. After that, she couldn't dance no more. Her name was Cricket. I've been fishing with crickets ever since. I thought of Gunner's Lounge, got in a Kickstart contest down there with the Dadgum Knucklehead Company. Any Knucklehead Company people in here? Where's Ron Al? Come on, buddy. Yeah, there we go. I was winning the Kickstart contest, and they had been force-feeding me adult beverages. I go to start to win this thing. I'm on my 41 Knucklehead Pearl. I go to kick it. My motor seized up. I said, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm about in tears, and they're laughing at me. I can't mix tears and laughter very well. And I looked down, man, I was kicking my passenger peg. And as Boy Clinty would say, I crunked up my knucklehead and got got the hell out of there. I pulled out one day, we were doing some things, and I was on my knucklehead, and I thought, I don't know why when you're doing things you buy a half a pound chili dog. I never figured that out. And there's all in this, he's coming by, and he's on his little digger. Oh man, so I pull out on my knucklehead, and man, we're gonna shoot it. So we just hop on it, we get down in it. And my hot dog broke in half and it went down in between my legs. 5 years later, I'm rebuilding my knucklehead. And I'm looking out, what in the hell's in my fins? It's chili. Black sun bull. I always wondered why I kept running hot after that day. That's what Sturgis means to me. So, they had a billiard hall on Main Street down there. I don't know how these people are allowed to take this stuff out and tear that stuff down. And I go in there, and I'm talking about the 4x8 snooker table, the big stuff, got the counters across the top, the long bar from here to there, man. You can shoot the bar down there. And what's in the window? Silver Lady, Arlen Ness's. It's in this book. I highly recommend you look at it. What does Sturgis mean to me? That's what it means to me, man. I'm a Sturgis boy. I'm not a Daytona guy. I'm a Sturgis boy. This is here, and I call it the Black Hills Classic. I still do. Pappy said if it's good enough for Pappy, it's damn sure good enough for Barry Wardlaw. I go to Daytona for one reason, to help my baby brother, Billy Lane, with that Sons of Speed. I mean, oh yeah, that's the greatest show on earth. Y'all need got that sitting over there. Ball, look at that. Man, I wish I was that pretty. Damn. So I'm on my knucklehead, and I had put in a John Andrews S grind camshaft. And I get here, it's 83, rides on his 78 lowrider, and I firmly know that I've got the fastest knucklehead in Sturgis, maybe the fastest motorcycle. So one morning I go out there, I go to 14 a.m., past the Wicker House, where cricket dances. And in front of me are these two old guys. I'm older than them now, but the older guys. And one of them had some kind of crazy sidecar thing on it. And I'm behind them. And I get up behind them, and we're going on, heading to Deadwood. Well, I slipped down from third into second gear. I'm about to put the boogie foot on these old codgers. I get down, I crack it, and I get up beside them, and they hit it. And they're doing pretty well. I go Springsteen on their ass. I get down, grab that handlebar, I pull down, I'm the paint man, I'm in it. And they just got smaller and smaller and smaller. By the time we got to the golf course, I could no longer see them, so I turned around and went back to Gunner and licked my deeply open wound. Not too much longer. I'm at the end of the bar, Gunner's Lounge, and I went in there. That bar is still marked out on the floor. I went in there. These two guys come in, and they're laughing. And they're laughing at me. Because they know my motorcycle, and they just picked me right out. I had heard their names many times, but I didn't know what they looked like. I didn't know their faces. Probably read it in Early Riders, Keith. Yeah. John Cameron and Lance Tidwell on their hot rod JDHs. I just got burned by the best. And there was much frivolity that followed. It was a good day. Let me get this thing going here. Now, Barry, I got one more. You got one more. Y'all want to hear the last story? You want to hear the last story? You know, I'm supposed to cut you off, but I'm loving this shit. Yeah. The doctor cut me off. After that, it's over, baby. And then the second question was, what got you into motorcycles? What got you into this? Some of them was on that, but I got to tell a little bit better. We lived in Barefoot Dirt Road, Louisiana. My parents worked for the doggone ammunition company, and their boss left, and he goes to Brigham City, Utah, to work with Thicol. This is when the Minuteman missile program fixed to crank up. So we moved to Brigham City, and every once in a while, we would leave Brigham City, and we'd have to head south. We'd go down to Salt Lake City, and Ogden. And there was, like all little boys and girls, well, most little girls, but all little boys, there was an Army Navy store that had an Army tank parked out front. Man, who don't like Army tanks, you know? And next to it was another Conoco station. And the guy that would give us gas there was on those uniforms, and I always thought, man, the car guy, because he was in uniform. My dad didn't dress like that. These days, I'm glad he didn't, but back then I thought it was pretty cool. So I like to get out of the car and watch the old marble. It was this flow meter in the pumps way back then, but it really wasn't a marble, it was bakelite. So I get out, and on the other side of the pump, I'm telling you this from a child's mind now. This is how I saw it, how I remember it. There was what I deemed to be a school bus on the other side, big school bus, and there was a man putting gas in it. And apparently I had asked my father if I could go over there. Well, this guy engages me. And after a while, he walks around to the back of this school bus looking rig and opens it up. This was it, man. This was the changing point in Barry Wardlaw's life. This is what happened. Something in the back of that bus had a hole in it that big, huge, big old tires, red, white, and blue. Woo, it had me. Years later, I looked in a magazine. My sister was 5 years older than me, so anybody that wants to get to your sister goes to the little brother. So I had all the hot rod magazines and belly guns and stuff from, her suitors. That was the Green Monster. That was Art Arpon's. And he was heading to Bonneville for the great shootout with Walt Arpon's, his stepbrother, and Craig Breedlove. 64. He set the world record on my birthday, October the 5th. So, when someone engages you, young, old, girl or boy, about what you do, and they're looking at, they've taken an interest in it, man, share your art and share your trade with them. Don't take it to the damn grave. It's important. It's coming, son. It's coming right now. This is I might not feel like I deserve this award, and I'm deeply humbled. But I ain't gonna give it back. Michael McCluskey, write the book. I love y'all, doggone it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Wardlaw.
He gets a shirt like this, but he ain't got broke out. I got Barry.